So at the 2015 CES, we had the opportunity to find out about a new Olympus effort called the Open Platform Camera Project. And the interesting thing here is that Olympus is actually releasing both a software development kit and 3D CAD files so that people can interface to the unit. And one of those types of files, the STL files, you can use to make a 3D print, which we have right here. I printed this on my Rostock Max version 2 3D printer. And get a sense of the size of the thing. Basically, there's a micro 4/3 flange on the front. They don't release the micro 4/3 flange mount with the data because I think that probably belongs to the micro 4/3 coalition. And then there's a flange on the back that you can use to attach it to whatever you've built. And there's also a couple of little mounting screws. They're hex head screws on the original that you would then remove to be able to bolt it into your own system. It's a little hard to see. There's a little power button right here. There's a broad, shallow button, and I'm not really sure what that is, whether that's actually a button or if it's just a grip. And this is kind of interesting. These two little slots here, I thought that the printer had glitched. I haven't really got it dialed in yet, and I thought that maybe that was just it hadn't printed something. But it turns out they're actually there on the model. I think those are the microphone holes for a stereo mic. And so moving around the body, as I said, there's one of those little hex head screws. They're opposite each other on the body. Go along a little bit further, there's a tripod mount which is nicely removable, so you can replace it if you want, or you could probably even bolt something different in there. And then over here we've got the mounting screw again, and then two latches. One's a latch for the micro 4/3 mount, and the other one's a latch for the flange on the back. The back's a little bit messed up. As I said, I haven't got the printer dialed in. Down here by the flange, there's a bunch of filament hanging out there. It's because I didn't put in any support material to hold it up when the printer was trying to print over air. But you get a sense of the flange. And then on the back there's a little micro USB connector for talking to it, and I would guess for charging. And I'm not sure what this is. I think this is just a latch to open the back of the unit to take the battery out. As far as you know at this point, I don't think it has a micro SD card inside. I think it's got internal memory, and other than that it just transfers files back to the host, whether it's an Android or iOS or what have you. But the cool thing about this is that we've actually got, you can see what size it is here. Here it is compared to an EPL5. You can see it's actually pretty compact. We don't know any of the specs for it yet, but I think it's safe to assume that it's pretty much got a standard Olympus micro 4/3 guts inside it. One of their standard live MOS sensors and the rest of the electronics, minus obviously the display and the control buttons. And so the cool thing about this isn't a flange up here, but we can actually model lenses on it. So this is one of the 14 to 42 millimeter kit lenses, the telescoping one. There it goes. So it gives you some idea of the relative size there. I don't know, in use you may want to use it with the prime. I've got, where does it go here? Here's a really nice 12 millimeter f2 prime. It's an attractive little package. Or if you want to go a little bit longer, here's a 25 millimeter f1.8. So it's really a pretty cool gadget, and they provide design files both in the STL format, which is what you use for 3D printing, as well as an STP or STEP format that's a common interchange language between CAD programs. And besides the file that lets you print the body of the camera, there's also a file for the flange, and I think there's even an iPhone case with the flange on it. And this got a little bit messed up here, as I said, because I don't have the printer really dialed in yet, and also I didn't use any support material. But I really believe that with the flange that you actually could print one with a properly dialed in printer. This is a little bit rough. I'm using a 0.35 millimeter nozzle to extrude the plastic, and it's got a 0.25 millimeter layer height. I think that nozzles for my machine are available down to about 0.15 millimeters, and I could do a 1/10 of a millimeter layer height, so that would actually be pretty fine. This is also really tough plastic. It's ABS, which is what they make Lego bricks out of, so it's really quite strong. And that's pretty much it. I was just pretty excited that I'd be able to grab this file, print out a model of it, and then try lenses on it, etc. And also have the ability to build a mounting flange. So far, this is just in Japan. Olympus at this point has done a hackathon, as they called it, at the Fab Cafe in Shibuya, the Shibuya area of Tokyo. And they provided, they have laser cutters to cut stuff out of particle board, etc. And they also have 3D printers there. So they got a bunch of hackers together, and people made a variety of things around it. And I believe they have another one coming up on January 22nd. So if you're in Tokyo, anywhere near Shibuya, you might want to get in touch with the Fab Cafe or check out the link to the OPC site that we have on our article. Anyway, that's what we know at this point, just in Japan so far, but I'm sure it's going to propagate around the world. It's a camera that's got an open interface to be able to program and connect to, and it's got an open mechanical design that you can use to build it into your projects. So that's the Olympus OPC, the Open Platform Camera.